Hello, all, and welcome to Holding Space Sunday. I hope that you are doing well in all these, um, prolific, crazy energies that have been coming in. Um, we've had another X class solar flare this week, um, and just, lots of different shifts and changes going on, and, really seeing people feel them this time. And even people who may not necessarily be listening to this, but I'm getting reports of, you know, people really starting to feel this energy, um, and then of course, the outside world is just one reveal after another right now, which is okay. It's all part of the show. And in fact, that's what I want to talk to you about for holding space tonight. Um, I'm gonna go through just because the March energies is kind of like what we're gonna focus on. Um, I'm gonna read a little bit about the um, the sort of timeline. Again, timelines are always interesting um, coming up, just because we've got so much going on astrologically, but then we need to pay attention to those moments because they're they're part of how the plan works out and how information is coming in. So just off the top, I'm gonna say like everything I'm about to say, like I have 3 pages of notes here. And this is just everything that's been coming to me. And how that happens is by me following others and seeing what they're saying, and then taking that in again to myself, um, channeling a little bit, getting some information, and then um, kind of like, formulating what I'm seeing happening, right? So, again, I'm gonna like state this right off the top. If for any reason this doesn't work for you and what I'm saying doesn't resonate, or it makes you not feel comfortable, then by all means skip past this bit, and I'll try to make a note of the thing in the notes so you can just do the meditation, and I'll also put the meditation up separately. The meditation we're going to do tonight is called Fortitude. It's one I wrote probably just about a year ago, not too long ago. Um, but it's when we started to realize that this very sort of thing that is happening on this planet is, I'm going to use the term spiritual warfare. That's hopefully not going to freak a bunch of people out, but we're kind of fighting this battle. Like what we're really trying to do is come out of the darkness into the light. So, yeah, let me like out there a lot of, we're hearing a lot of talk about, it's very doom and gloom out there. Um, but I want to just share one thing before we get into things is if we look back and to the root word of the word apocalypse in ancient Greek, it doesn't mean end or anything like that. All it simply means, I'm just going to look at my notes here, is the great unveiling of things. So bringing light to the situation, uh, the unfolding of things previously unknown. So I actually heard a girl describe this really well. It's, the dark to light. Dark being like we've been in the dark ages. Even now, one would say we're not in a period of enlightenment. We're heading there. But as we go through that darkness to light, the light refracts, it's a two-way street. It refracts back and shines light on the dark. And that's what we're seeing out there right now is all the unfolding of the truth. So, and it's not easy to look at. Um, so my goal always is with you guys um, is to keep us in that space, holding space. We're not just holding space for the collective. The most important person that we're holding space for is ourselves. because we have to be in the best vibration we can as we go through this. Um, March is pretty power packed. It's gonna, you know, it's gonna be one thing after another, right up until the end of the month, almost till the indications all say probably, I would say, April Fool's Day. And there's gonna be information um, being revealed right up through. There's definite dates coming up and things like that. So first, I'm just going to read some of the astrological points. I don't know why I can't say that word, but sometimes I can. So I'm just going to put those through, and then you can jot down anything that you know that you think pertains to you. But also, you know, uh, I'll be trying to do videos closer to that, just depending on how things work. So March 7th, 8th, we have the Virgo full moon. So this brings the medicine needed for the strong and potent energies that lie ahead, a time of cleansing. So yeah, we're just right in that last little pivotal point where it's like, again, getting rid of anything that's not serving us, um, and preparing, because the energies are going like to like super increase, and more events are about to happen. So on that same day, though, we also have Saturn that moves into Pisces, and this is a big catalyst. So it's one of the biggest cosmic shifts of the year. It's a new karmic cycle beginning that helps us to mature and grow. Expect themes around spirituality, creativity, and boundary setting. So I'll be incorporating those two elements for sure into the moon reading. So look for that. I'll put it probably as part of the week reading, and then also put it up separately for whatever that is, Tuesday night, maybe? I can't remember dates right now. And from March 9th to the 15th, Jupiter is conjunct Chiron. It's a powerful healing portal. It opens, bringing healing and awakening, a time when our wounds are uncovered and lead us to greater potential. For some of us, we may not see anything through that, but what I'm definitely seeing with that is a bunch of people are going to wake up. So you might be called to assist them in understanding what's going on. So just know that, again, always make sure we're taking care of ourselves first, and that you're in a good position to do that. That would be part of the boundary setting. If you're not there yet, you know, it sounds callous sometimes, but it's sometimes we have to say no to people. Like, so make sure you're in a good space first before we're helping others. But again, if you're doing your work and everything's going along tickety boo, then it's time to step up and you know, start our mission. We came here to help. That's what we did. Okay, March 11th, Venus goes conjunct with Eris, which is a powerful goddess energy. Intuition is heightened. We can feel confident to stand up for what we need. Very nice. So maybe I'll be looking at March 11th. Hopefully it's near a holding space Sunday, and maybe we'll do some goddess work that day. Why not? Okay, March 15th, 16th, Sun and Neptune and Mercury, a triple conjunction in the sign of Pisces. May add to feelings of fogginess and confusion. It's time to go with the flow. Yeah, so just a little warning there that's, it could be kind of a interesting time. There's also, it's really interesting because it's hard to describe this to people, but there is the spiritual movement, or the new age, or whatever you're calling it, the enlightening movement. Part of when I started this journey is I was following those sorts of people, and then this other movement came in with it, and they kind of twinned up, and all the information that was coming in was twinning up. And that's sort of like this truther movement. Again, I'm not going to get into all the theories and the things like that, because I know what I believe and what I feel. It is up to you to do your own work and find out what's going on, and then and your big job is to use discernment to make sure that if it resonates with you or not, and if it's not, then we're not following, blindly following what everybody is saying, especially if it doesn't feel right to us. So that being said, I saw those two marry up early in like 2017, 2018. And on both sides, whether they were channelers or people, they call them digital warriors, digging through information to find truth, everything started to marry up or match up. So they were saying the same thing. And I was like, okay, something's going on here. Like, this is, you know, they're not, I don't feel like they're two separate entities. They're one and the same. And again, it's that whole dark to light thing. It's that we're coming out of this period of darkness and we're shining the light on everything. So that that entails finding out the truth about everything. And I feel like March is just going to be, like I said, it's event after event after event that gets us thinking again. So just to put it in there, around the 15th and 16th, there's some predictions, which I don't usually do, of just some stuff going down in the world, right? So we'll get into that. I'm going to talk about that's in my pages of notes, which we haven't even started yet, and we're 10 minutes in. So if you don't want to listen to me blather on, I totally get it. You can just go to the meditation. Um, so just it's not, again, and I'll get into this in there, but it's not to scare us. It's to prepare us, right? We're better when we're prepared for things, than we are, getting caught with our pants down and trying to like make things work when they're not going to work. So, um, we'll finish these dates and then I'll get into that. So, the 17th of March, St. Patrick's Day. So, I mean, who knows? But anyway, Mars is leaving its shadow phase. So it's not in that retrograde darkness. We're finally done with the Mars retrograde cycle, which began last year in October. Our motivations and energy levels can be renewed. So that's good. We're going to need that energy as everything is unfolding. The 20th, which is the equinox, we are in Aries season. So it's the astrological new year. So I always like to celebrate that as actual renewal and new year. So I'll probably be doing an equinox broadcast, just depending on, again, how everything plays out. So we begin a new collective trip around the sun. The equinox brings the energy of balance and fertility. Aries seasons brings new beginnings, a power day for manifestation and raising the vibration of the planet. Yeah, we better get together on the 20th, either online or in person. We'll figure that out. The 21st, then we were followed with an Aries new moon, new beginnings again, or welcome. And this is the first of two new moons in Aries. And the next one coming up after this, I don't remember the date, is an eclipse. So we're heading into eclipse season again, which always, again, big change. This new moon gives us a taste of the transitions that are to come. New opportunities are coming our way. The 23rd, this is the big astrological date that everybody is talking about. However, like I said, there's things matching up on this truth intelligence side that that are like lining up with this day as well, and the 15th and 16th. So Pluto goes into Aquarius. I've been talking a little bit about this. It's a rare cosmic event of our lifetime. A new cycle begins over the coming decades, a time where power shifts in our own lives and in the collective. Pluto in Aquarius will bring in the technology age. Interesting take on that. So again, if we go back to truths, there's a lot of hidden technology from us. Like, I don't for a second believe that we've spent all this time on this planet with all of our knowledge and we can't cure certain diseases. Like, that to me is 100% bullshit. Like, give me a break. There's just no way. Like, you know, and again, it comes down to having things hidden. So those are coming out and being revealed, and nothing can stop what's coming. I'll just say that again. Okay, March 25th, Mars goes into Cancer. Mars has been in Gemini since August of 2022. This extra long stay was due to its retrograde. Mars now moves into Cancer. Reflect on how attitudes toward your fears and motivations have changed. That's really an interesting date. You might want to mark down, like, that's a good day for journal work, because part of like me going through and doing this writing for this meditation and everything was I just fundamentally realized that I am such 100% completely different from who I was even 4 years ago, even 2 years ago. And, you know, like I never, if I watched this video now, like this video, like 5, 6 years ago, I would have been like, that girl's crazy. Anyway, I've changed a lot and I've seen a lot. It is, right? Once you go down the rabbit hole and once you wake up, you cannot go back to sleep very much. You can try, but it doesn't work. All right, so that's the major highlights for March. And then again, April Fool's Day, there's just, it's not necessarily coming out astrologically, but I haven't really looked at it astrologically. Um, but there's definitely some hints around that that day is kind of interesting too. So again, I would guess because it's April Fool's Day, it's about, again, more revealing of the truth, right? The Fool, right? The Fool is always a new beginning too in the tarot. So, yeah. Okay. So, what we're going to talk about, what I'm going to just talk about for Holding Space Sundays, I'm going to run through my notes because I do want to, this is sort of expanding on my little talk about the event. And it's just, the reason it came up is because, like I said, there's starting to be hints about dates this month where we're going to see some pretty dramatic, traumatic, and yeah, I don't even know the words for them, but big shifts, like both energetically on this planet to the people around us, and that sort of thing. So, again, not putting this information forward to scare anyone, but just so that we're prepared. Because I think, I don't know about you, but I kind of like when I have an inkling that something might go down so that when it does, it's not so frightening. I find when you don't, when it just pulls the rug out from under you, or you can't get your footing because it just snuck up on you, or like a surprise. Surprises aren't always like the best thing, right? They can be, they can scare the crap out of you. Um, I like having just a little bit of a like, okay, well, let's see what happens. Like, but I'm prepared. Okay, so what again with the sun, we'll start with the sun and the energy. So the potential is for an event, an actual event. Um, things have been like tipping us off too, like when a few like last weekend, I think it was, um, the solar storms were so high, like they hit, a 4 or 5 is normal, and you get some pretty good aurora borealis in the higher latitudes. This was hitting a 7, and they saw them as far as like in the UK down to London, which is, or like just outside Stonehenge, actually. Pretty cool. The pictures are neat. And then we saw them here, like right down to us, and through the United States, saw them in the upper states, and out to the island, and it was an incredible show. It wasn't even just like your pretty like nice green ones. It was like these full magenta and pink colors, like. So for me, these are always events where it's like it is the higher realm letting us know it's like it's fine, this is happening, it's for the best, it's going to be beautiful. Don't panic, go out and enjoy the show. It's really interesting too because I just read the other day too, like I feel like March is going to be a lot of sky phenomena, so keep looking at the skies, the clouds, that kind of thing. the stars. Betelgeuse is in the Orion constellation, and it is, they're pretty much predicting it's going to be going supernova anytime now. And that we will be able to see that with the naked eye. So, I mean, that would be pretty interesting. I don't think we've seen that in our lifetime. I could be wrong. Anyway, what all this energy is building up for in March is that and what's happening when these big flares come in and we don't feel really good and we feel a little off is that it's trying to calibrate our body, because this is a higher quotient of light that is going to come in when this event happens. And we need to be able to hold that light within us. So that's all that's happening when these things come in. So, I can usually tell when one's coming in because I'll be doing okay. And then all of a sudden I'll just be like, I'm so tired. Like I could go lay down right now. Um, it often happens when I'm working, so I can't go and lay down. But as those things happen, if you feel that, just go ahead and lay down, have a nap, like let your body integrate. And that's the thing, is we may not be able to feel what's going on, but we're integrating stuff. So it's a patience game, and it's just being kind to your body, and that's why it is important about the self-care element. Like we're watching what we're putting into our body, like news, food, water, as much as we can. I know it's not the easiest on this planet, like it really isn't. It's easier to do the the crappy things for us. It's more convenient sometimes. But just do your best. Just do your best to hold yourself in the best possible vibration. That's all I can say. Um, and then what I'm going to say next is again, it's about what we're putting in and letting come in. So as these events happen in the outside world, and they are going to ramp up in March. And again, I'm not saying this to scare us. We just need to be prepared so that when they happen, we know we can revert back to our soul and our higher self that says everything's fine. This is the divine plan. Okay, just don't panic. Again, don't panic's been coming up a lot, but I think there's going to be some pretty significant truths revealed in March that cause us to get close to panicking. I don't want to say don't feed into it, but realize that those events, some of those events that are happening out there is like stoking up the new energy and magic. So um the thing that I'm going to say is we create our own reality, right? This has been a concept that's been around for a long time. So if we're feeding in to the fear, we're just going to get more of it. We're creating more of it. And right now on this planet, it's a tough cycle to break because there's so many people out there feeding into it constantly. And it's like really hard to break them of that habit. Um, it's hard too because I struggle with it. I've had my on and off during these last couple of weeks because I've really felt like, it's like this is a big job and it's really hard. But I know that we can do this. So just keeping in mind that you create your reality. And I don't say that and then think, and because this is where I get into it with people, is that they're like, well, you're just sticking your head in the sand. But I'm not. I don't want that on my timeline. I don't want your negative warring and fighting and fear. I don't want that in my timeline. I don't need that in my timeline. So, yeah, it's again, it does sound like, and people can say what they want. I'm not sticking my head in the sand. I'm perfectly aware of what's going on out there. Um, I just I need for my self-preservation to imagine things can get better, right? Um, so yeah, the thing I wrote down here is just being aware that you can create your reality. Like you can create your bubble so that that stuff isn't affecting you. or letting you put into fear. I mean, like, I know what's happening out there, um, but I'm not going to let it sink me, right? Okay, so it's hard to believe that fact at this time, right? But it's it's the most critical thing we need to put our energy into at this time than ever before, because we have to shut that, like, I guess I've said this before, we have to shut the fear off, because we're going to keep perpetuating it. So yeah, I also wrote down here, so make no mistakes, the outside world is about to get much louder. In fact, I don't say this to frighten you, but I do believe um, that we're going to go to the brink of a big scare event, and we have to hold the light and the space so that not everyone around us manifests more negative time loop, right? Um, we also have to remember a lot of these things that are happening. Um, every time something comes out, it wakes somebody else up or a large group of people. So if you're watching this, you're probably already kind of awake and you're kind of aware of what's really going on in the world. Or you might just have a couple inklings, and so a couple of these events might still pop up for your further awakening. So um, these events, though, are because there's still people who are very, very, very asleep, like completely not tuned in at all. Um, yeah, so just know as things come up and they try to ramp up the fear, is we always just keep going back to what we know is that in our hearts, and we're fine, and we came here to do this. And yes, they're prolific, frightening events, but sometimes there's just no other way to wake people up. Like, we can't shake them awake. We can't be involved in that. They have to come to it themselves. But sometimes there's going to be events to trip that off. So, what else did I put here? It's just about us being prepared so that we don't take ourselves um, out of the loop and go into fear. Okay, so I have an analogy about this. Okay, so I feel like it's like we've been forced to go on a ride at a carnival. And so this one is kind of a mix of a fun house and a haunted house. So sometimes events are coming at us, and they're so laughable that, like, it's just go ahead and laugh, because, it's like you're on the ride, you're not getting off of it. So just enjoy the funny moments. Because right now, some of the stuff that is happening is like, it's a clown show for real. Like, it's not even like remotely, like, it's so stupid. It's funny. Anyway, I won't get on that because I'll be on that for days. Um, in this ride, though, sometimes shit's gonna jump out at you and scare the hell out of you. We've got to try to also laugh that off, because we have to realize it's trying to trigger not necessarily us, but other people into being like, oh, just a second. That what is that? We're on a ride? Yeah. Remember that. We're on a ride. Okay. And what I'm saying that for is remembering in those moments that it's not real, and it does eventually come to an end. So eventually that little ride ends, you get out of the little cart and you go back out into the sunny day of the carnival. It's going to be fine. We just have to go through the ride. I hate scary things. I can't stand when stuff jumps out and that kind of stuff. I mean, I talk to ghosts and things, but that doesn't scare me. Like, stuff jumping out scares me. Anyway, stuff that moves too fast too. I don't like that. Like spiders. They move too fast. That's my problem with them. Um, anyway, okay. So in regards to the brink or the event, um, I think I'm talking about this now, like I said, in the two different factions. So there's going to be events here on Earth where they're trying to scare the crap out of us. The way that we circumvent is to come in from here, from the spiritual side, so that we totally transform and dispel, is dispel the word? Disintegrate, whatever it is that we don't feed into that energy and let it consume us. We push it back this way and we push it back this way with our light and shine the light on it and have it exposed. And then we transmute and dispel that energy. Hang on a second. And so in my opinion, I mean, when you do this, when you choose to do this, come at it from the spiritual side, people, again, they're going to say that you're just sticking your head in the sand. You're people call it light washing things, that hope and prayer doesn't work. I've heard all of that stuff before. And I say hogwash 100% to that. This is my opinion. So how I deal with this stuff is I legitimately, like, especially when it's like the big one we're talking about is the whole war, the 3 war scenario, right? We all know what that means. It means that it would be destruction, right? Complete destruction. First of all, I don't believe that's going to be allowed to happen because it doesn't just affect our planet, it affects the entire universe. And we're not alone in this universe, and they can not allow that to happen. But anyway, that's a whole other subject. What I like to do to make it right for myself, and so I look at like any event, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't have to be the big scare one. It can just be anything that's happened in the last 3 years, where we might want to be like, we could protest, we could be, out there speaking our mind, fighting the good fight, or whatever you want to call it. I've always known that isn't my way of doing things. So what I what I always do to ground myself and do my spiritual work and not worry about that and get myself right is I always ask myself what I can do about it. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna stop. Like, I'm not gonna go out of my house and put my coat on and march up to like any leader and get anything done. That's not gonna happen to me in this lifetime. It doesn't even matter if I go out and protest. Is that doing anything about it? Is it really doing anything about it? Any of those sorts of things. So I always ground myself going, well, what can I do? What is the thing I can do that I can actually physically do? And that is 100% to pray and to meditate. That's what I can do to raise the frequency, to raise my energy. Those are the things that I can do. So I don't think it's sticking my head in the sand. And I do believe that collectively, that energy, once we increase it, cannot be stopped. And so I challenge you and I encourage you to make this the way that we get through this, right? Is by doing our work and holding the space and holding this frequency. And then I sometimes like get to the point like really ask yourself, like, if let's just say, let's put out the worst case scenario and it's the end. Would you rather transition, because again, we don't die, we just transition into new energy or some different form. But would you rather go out of this world in fear? And no, I don't think so. I would rather go out in peace, 100%. So, again, I don't believe it's going to be allowed to happen. I do believe 100% that we're going to be pushed to the brink, because that legitimately is the only way certain people are going to open their eyes and go, holy, what the like, and then that's why we all went first and woke up, because we're going to be there to hold our brothers and sisters' hands and hug them and hold them and say, it's okay, we got this. We all have this together. So, yeah, that's my take on it. Um, I've got a little bit of other things to say, but it goes back to that the timeline thing, right? What do I want in my reality? I create my reality. I completely believe that. Um, the test is like, which outcome are you going to choose? Which outcome do you want to be a part of? I feel, some people are going to choose to stay in this low frequency. And I know that's hard because they might be people you love and care for and that are part of your, family, but we don't know what they chose to do in this lifetime. Um, they might just choose to stay in that lower energy until they really truly figure it out. But I do really, really believe that right now, like the powers that used to kind of rule this planet, which is crumbling before them, they can't exist in this light that's coming in. It's too high frequency for them, and they are not capable of raising their frequency. And they knew this was coming, so they are going to Hail Mary this thing to the end, and they are going to take down as many souls as they can in the end. So, you know, by all costs, protect your soul and just do the work and raise your frequency. Um, I don't think we come out of this if we're in fear and panic. 100%, we stay on that low timeline. Um, I wrote down starve the energy, starve the low energy. Don't feed into it. Hold the space, hold the line, and hold the light. And again, I'm getting back into that um, the dark to light thing, right? The Greek word of apocalypse is again, it is not. It is about it is about unveiling, right? The unfolding of the previously unknown. There's a couple other like things it translates to. Um, this girl that I was listening to said this perfectly too, right? So look at it as light is actually not like physical light. It's information. So we're just in the great reveal right now, and it isn't pretty, and we get that. um, so anyway, that is my suggestion and chit chat on the March energies and what's these dates that are coming up. So I do suspect by the like 15th, 16th, 17th is the kind of the next big sort of um like I like to call it is a spiritual warfare, and we're skirmaging. Is that what it's called? Skirmaging on both sides, back and forth, right? So we have a bit of a victory, and then they get a bit of a victory, right? It's the in the Star Wars movies, right? Like we go back and forth. One movie, the good guys get to win, and one time the bad guys take over. Oop, I just realized I smudged my makeup. Anyway, so we're in this warfare. So, which is the reason also that I am attaching this meditation tonight. So, the meditation tonight is we're going to do some cards right now, and then the meditation will be up in just at the end of it. And then I will put the meditation up separately if that's all you want to do. But by now, you've totally listened to me, so and my crazy ramblings. Anyway, I just basically I want to tell you my like what I feel and what I see happening so that if you can draw some hope from that it's we're okay and it's going to be fine. It's just we got to go, we're in battle, and it's war isn't pretty, is it? Anyway, what the meditation is on fortitude. I wrote this about a year ago, when stuff started to ramp up again. I feel like I can't remember what the event was. um, but this is about putting on the armor of God. This concept has come up in both the spiritual community and the truther community in different ways. So I just feel like it's a good meditation to just prepare us on a spiritual level, um, and to fortify us, to keep us strong and resilient. So I hope that you enjoy the meditation when it comes up here. Yeah. Let's do some cards. I just kind of want to get a rough idea of what they feel is going on, what we feel is going on in the universe. Um, Again, yeah. So the reason I put this on this Holding Space Sunday is, March is ramping up. There's lots going to be going on. So just hold on to your hats and seats your pants and just be in the best high energy that you can as often as you can. And as those solar flares and upgrades come in, just, with ease and grace, allowing them to happen and trying to take care of the best that you can. So we got the Lovers. I also love this card because it's the angel is holding, it kind of looks like Earth, and then there's a man and a woman, a union in there. I see the divine in myself reflected in another. Yeah, this is the love attitude. This is the love vibe that we need to move into, because as we move through this next little while too, we have to we have to respect every other living being on this planet, regardless of what they're doing, because they came here to do a role too. Like, we can't just be like, oh, okay, I don't really like that person, so they're bad, and mark them as evil and then discount them. They came here as well as a soul to help this time. So sometimes they have to move things. Um, that being said, though, right, as we head into this, those souls will be given a chance. I hate to say this because, again, with this armor of God thing, I can just hear people go, oh, she's getting all religious. And it's not religion. It's not religion. But um, these souls are going to have a chance to repent. And if they choose not to and they choose to stay in the lower frequency, then they stay in the lower frequency. That's, we all get the chance. Anyway, this is the Namaste card, right? So because this came up right now, I'm just going to suggest that we just, we do our own work. We don't need to forget or forgive anyone at this moment, but we just need to, hold them in the light too and say, I wish the best for you. I see the light in you, and I have that same light in me. Just keeping that in mind. I know that's a hard one because sometimes people, you just want to like see justice served to their sweet little butt because they've been total butts. Um, the thing too is that does get into the whole God thing, because again, it's sort of coming up like, what's not our job? Our job is not to wake people up. Our job is us, the inside job of getting us through this time period so that we can help others when they've gone through their time. And then, and anyone who doesn't do that work, that's up to God. That's up to the universe. That's up to source, whatever you want to call it, the Elohim, whatever. They will be dealt with. That's not our job. Not our job. Cool. So March, we also got a burst of magic. I love it. I wrote down magic earlier, and I don't remember what it was in regards to in my notes. Yeah, okay. It's just that this new energy that's coming in it's new energy. Um, and we're learning how to use it. But it's learning, it's magic. It's true, and it's for good. And don't everyone always like, you say magic and people are like, it's devil stuff. And I'm like, no, it's not. So just be aware. Again, it's awakening. It's the lotus flower opening, discovering our new energetic being. This is what's happening. And so, as much as we can, we got to enjoy this process and learn to use these skills and wield our magic. Um, Again, wielding is an interesting word because it's like, instead of demanding things to happen, it's a skill to use magic. You have to command things. So I'm not demanding things of the universe. I'm commanding. So I need this to happen, or those sorts of things. And just putting it out there, instead of make this happen. Oh, I shouldn't have yelled. Sorry, guys. Probably scared the Jesus out of you. Hey, it's like the ride. Sometimes shit's just gonna jump out at you, scare the crap out of you. All right. And then for March, we also got the alchemy card. Again, just like last week. So, or well, it kind of popped up last week, but we are just in a process of change. It's funny because when you talk about alchemy, like it's, like most people will go to the exact thing, like turning um, matter into gold. And alchemy is the same though for the human body, the spirit, the soul. So we are transforming what we currently have using different formulas, energies, to become something new, to become gold, right? So we are in the process of becoming like the most valuable, right? So just keep, we're just, and alchemy, again, I always say, this is a process. We can work our magic, but it's working magic in bits and pieces until we get to the top and the goal. The, it's not all just going to be like flick the magic wand and everything turns to gold. It has to go through a process of shifting this energy, being part of our body and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's exciting, you guys. It really is. I get though, like, trust me, I watch the news sometimes and I'm just like, what the $5 is going on out there? Everybody's losing their mind. All right. And so I'm going to be using the portal cards in the weekly read and probably from now on because not just that these are great cards for on portal days, but and we just passed one. I forgot to do a video that day on the 3rd of March. That was the 3/3 portal and it was really potent. Um, so I don't know. I think that's the day the X class came in, or maybe it was the first. But anyway, I'm going to be reading these portal cards a lot because these are, well, they're amazing cards, but this is the new energy, right? This is all the forgotten knowledge. Oh, jeez. Sorry, my ear just rang when I said that. And like, that was a pitch I've never heard. It was so high pitched. Woo! Which usually means it's true or we're on to something. So, yeah, we're going to be using these a lot because this is the energy that's coming in. We got also the central sun. Abundance downloads, regeneration, and success. And again, anytime the sun comes in, um, yeah, so I mean, all indications are that we're getting closer and closer to an actual um, event, right? The event, the great solar flash, whatever you want to call it. um, the thing with all these solar flares, too, is that it's kind of like, it's almost like it's sort of like a projection. And there's flares, but like, it's not the flares themselves that are causing things here on Earth or to our spiritual form. It's all that energy is actually channeling through the central sun, which is behind the sun. It's a whole thing. It's the center of the universe. And it's sending all the downloads and information to us. So it's kind of disguised in the solar flares. Because sometimes too, we'll just, I've had like days where I'm just convinced a solar flare is coming through and I hear nothing about it. And then but I get downloads or I get a huge like shift in energy and I can feel it. The worst one is it usually happens to me and I wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning and I'm just like, oh boy, everything's shifting. Hold on to your hats. Anyway, so this is just a confirmation we're getting closer to that event. Again, nothing to be scared of. It could be really interesting. Oh, that's what I did want to say about like the 15th, 16th. The two kind of things that are correlating, and again, this isn't to scare anyone, is that it very well could have to do with the internet and maybe that it's not around or that, it's that new systems to come online have to get rid of the old systems. I know that sounds scary. Um, so I would just say, like, just be prepared yourself. Like, make sure you have enough food in your house and money, cash. I don't know. It's the reason I say this again isn't because I want to scare anybody, but it's just like why wouldn't we just be prepared? Just be prepared. And never in history do we want to get caught with our pants down, and be forced into the panic, right? If you're prepared, and people can call you a doomsdayer and a crazy person and like all of that, but you're the one laughing when we're sitting there with, when everything's not accessible. And I'm going to share a story to you because this happened to me this week. Is that um, on Wednesday we we lost everything in our house in terms of we had no internet, we had no telephone, and we had no cable TV. And so so it was just like there was like you don't know till that stuff's gone that you're like, oh my God. Like I don't even know. Like it was great though. I listened to CDs that I haven't listened to in a million years. I read some books. Um, and yeah, so we had 3 days of that. And I was like, is this preparing me for like, so that I don't lose my mind when that does happen? Anyway, I'm not making a prediction in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that there's potential timelines where that happens. And so, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have, to be stocked up a little bit if you can. Like right now, like I'm not stocked up because I haven't had a lot of work this month. And so I don't have a ton of money, so that frightens me a bit. But at the same time, I also don't believe that it's going to go so negatively that we're not well taken care of. We have lots of family and friends, and they would never let anything happen to us. Anyway, so the last card we got for March before we go to the meditation is really funny. Is Mirror, Truth Revealed. So yeah, March energies, you guys, is completely that. Just a lot of energy coming in, changes, alchemy, magic, um, holding the space and holding the line as all these truths come out. We're going to leave this on a positive note, is that if you look at the picture with this truth revealed card, is the person here kind of looks, I don't want to say dowdy, but a little bit, right? A little bit shy, a little bit rolled in, you know, plain, believing they're nothing. The reflection in the mirror is pure goddess energy, pure light, pure love. She's holding the lotus flower in her hands and has the crown and third eye in total light. So the truth is, this is who we really are, and this is who we've always been. The lie is that we are nothing, that we are just dowdy sacks of meat on this planet that are born and then pay our taxes and die. That's not true. And we're way more powerful, and nothing can stop what's coming. This energy is coming in, and yeah, it's, we made it to this time, and it's very exciting. And yeah, I don't even know what to say about it. I know I'm excited and giddy. I know that there's going to be tough moments through it, but if you're watching this, we're here together and we'll make it through together. So have a really good night. Please enjoy this meditation. And I will put it up separately if you want to do it again, or just separately on its own. At this point, if you're not listening, you're not listening. So take care of yourselves, really take care of yourselves. And that's on every level, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And remember that I love you, and we're all okay, and we're going to do this together. Take care and have a really good night. This meditation is to help teach us about fortitude, building up a strong character and sense of self by finding courage in times of pain and adversity. We are going to strengthen each chakra and receive gifts to armor ourselves during these times so we can stand tall and be courageous and resilient. This meditation involves putting on the full armor of God or Source. It helps us to find our inner strength and fortifies our inner resources. Beginning, as we always do, finding a comfortable position, beginning to slow your breath and settle in, closing your eyes, and then breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth 3 times. Imagine we are in a museum. It is night and the building is vacant. The dark and the quiet are welcomed. It allows us a moment of peace and reflection. Breathe, rest, and enjoy this moment of silence. Walking along the hallway, we come into a red room. Upon a pedestal in the middle of the room sits a very plain pair of old leather sandals. These are the sandals of peace. We all face times in life that challenge our resources and try our patience. Few people are taught to be internally resourceful when things go wrong. Here we build up our courage by truly understanding that we are self-sufficient. The gift here is stability and knowing our inner strength. You are grounded and centered here on this earth, and you have a right to be here. Place the sandals upon your feet. Breathe and feel the peace move through you. And knowing from here on out, every step you take will be in peace. Moving now to the next room. This room is a vibrant poppy orange. The pedestal in the middle of this room contains an ornate belt upon it. This is the belt of truth. When we learn to honor our body, and when we understand that the truth is, we truly deserve all the good things available in this life. There is much abundance in this world, and you are enough, and you have enough. You are the true definition of well-being. And here we build our confidence in good health and in wellness. Place the belt around your waist. Breathe and feel into the very truth of your existence. Walking now into the next room, it is a brightly colored yellow room. The pedestal in the middle contains an armor breastplate. This is the breastplate of righteousness. Our true self is the part of us that is always whole and intact. Though life can appear difficult, we are made whole again when we connect to the self. Here, we build our confidence, knowing our worth, knowing that you matter and you are needed here now. Place the breastplate over you and breathe, standing tall and strong in your rights and in all your moral beliefs. Continuing now into the next room, it is a brilliant green room. The pedestal here simply contains a ball of bright white light. It is gleaming and glittering in the air. This is the light of consciousness, of the sacred heart. The heart is the center of peace, love, and unity. Here we learn that our goodwill towards others and to ourselves is one of the most important qualities in our life. This is also the space where God exists within each of us. A strong heart is able to forgive the wounds of the past, find joy in the current moment, step up in the world to make it a better place. The courage gained here is the courage to love. Place the light within your heart. Breathe and feel the love and the light within your whole being. Next, coming into a soft pastel blue room. The pedestal in the middle contains a large shield. This is the shield of faith. The understanding here is to maintain a strong and viable sense of self, as it is essential to express our truth as best we can, even when the risk of being different or standing apart from others means being persecuted. The courage gained here is to be your true, authentic self. We become stronger in ourselves and become more resilient in our thinking when we express ourselves. Pick up the shield, feel its weight and protection. Breathe and feel empowered to know and speak your truth. Feel into your being and understand your true, authentic self. Keep the faith in yourself. Coming next into a room that is indigo colored. The pedestal contains a large, shiny sword. This is the sword of spirit. The energy here helps us to understand. We expand our inner picture of how we see ourselves and the world. If we cultivate positive beliefs about ourselves and others, our mental outlook will build resilience, and we are able to weather any disruptions. It teaches us to be more flexible, strong yet flexible, so that when the wind blows or the storm comes, we are able to bend and move with the weather rather than be snapped into two. Place the sword in your hands, feel the weight and the strength. See the blade that, even though heavy and strong, it quivers, it's flexible. Sense the feeling. This sword is like that of Archangel Michael's sword, and it connects you in spirit with him. It enables you to cut through energetic cords, ties, binds, or anything that is limiting you. Breathe and use this sword to cut all ties to everything that is no longer serving you. Moving now into the final room, it is a deep, rich amethyst purple. The pedestal in the center of the room contains a helmet. This is the helmet of salvation. Here we understand our goal must be to see spirit in all of life, embodying ways of grace within our every action. We learn that we are awakening to the awareness that who we truly are is divine in nature, and nothing can stop our spirit. Living in grace teaches us we are all connected to the divine, and everything is done with the assistance and love from the divine. Place the helmet upon your head. Breathe and feel the support and the grace flowing through your body, mind, and soul. Stepping out now back into the world in your full armor. Feel yourself empowered, protected, and ready. Not ready for battle, but rather ready to protect and defend yourself through any strife, turmoil, or adversity. Feel into your confidence and courage. and above all, your radiant energy of love, light, and grace. Breathe and feel into your strength and fortitude. Continuing to breathe slowly. Just enjoying this moment. And then slowly beginning to bring yourself back into your place of meditation. Coming back into heart center. And just feeling the warmth of the love emanating from heart center. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth 3 times. Feeling your feet connected at earth, nice and grounded. And when you're ready and feel back in your space and in your body, take one more big deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.